But the interesting part is, as a plant breeder, many times I was, traveling with a car full of men, of course, because I was the only woman. And they always, I'll tell a fun fact now. What happened is that they usually they would never stop in restrooms for me, right? Because the men go to the field, right? So they didn't even think about me as like they needed to do those things, right? Like, okay, what's happening, right? But I sort of adapt, and I sort of like then they became a little bit more aware over time, but being a woman, then I actually end up moving, and in many parts of my career, I always felt that like even when I was a vice president in Corteva, we were maybe 2 out of 15. So in other words, has always being always the minority. I know that in science we still have a problem. I live that problem. Some of you are living that problem, and I think this is what we need to look at. Like, how do we change that, and how we actually move this. And I'll tell you one more fact, the last fact, and then I'll tell you my call for action. Is that during my entire career, I never had a woman as a boss. I never had a mentor as a boss, because there were none around. There were only men, okay? My first boss, women, is Mahani Eloaf. I tell you, I kept trying, eventually I got it. One, and a very good one, by the way. So I'm lucky in that way. But I think because that is still the reality, and I think, us here, there are a lot of women in this room. I think we need to help the women who are coming. We need to help to sponsor them. We need to help to mentor them, because they are going to go through the things that we have gone through. So we need to help them through that journey. But I think there is my first call of action is that where I got during my career were the men. I was fortunate to meet and to be supportive for men who really care. So for the men in the audience, thank you. So the men are important ally in this journey. They need to be, because most of the time the decision makers make a difference. And in the majority of in the senior leadership, we have men. So please help us. Help us to make the right decisions, that put in the right incentives for us to continue changing this. I think that's my first call of action. The other one is for the women in here. Make sure that you are role models, that you really, you are visible to the women who want to come, and sometimes they are just scared. Why don't I see more women into? There must be something difficult, right? So be visible, because you being visible, you help others, you inspire others to come. So these 2 things are important. And I think we all collectively can really get this. Why do we need more women in science? It's because women bring collaboration. Women bring things to the table that sometimes it makes the science more balanced. It makes the science more purposeful. Many times, women think about the big things, think about the communities in a different way. So we need more women, because we need a better agriculture, food systems with the influence of women. Thanks for being here today, and let's go for this journey. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sandra, for